As farms and ranches spread across the Heartland, families established communities and erected churches to meet their spiritual needs. But as the rural population in America began to decline, a lot of these churches fell into disrepair. But here in North Dakota, efforts are underway to preserve these pieces of Heartland history.
It's been a prairie landmark since right after the turn of the century.
Trinity Church was once the spiritual center of this North Dakota farming community, but population shifts in the 20th century moved families from rural communities to the city. Congregations grew smaller, and like many other churches, Trinity was left behind.
Of course, the building sat abandoned, giving in to the wind and the rain and winter, and just kind of fell apart.
There were approximately 2,000 church buildings in the state, still standing.
But Trinity's plight, and those of other churches, kindled a movement to save this part of America's rural heritage.
So these churches were closing. We had a closure rate of about 10 churches per year. So we became very worried about what was going to happen to these buildings if the congregations continued to disband and close and move on to other communities.
Those realities prompted a group called Preservation North Dakota to seek funds and establish grants that could be used for renovations.
We gave out our first round of grants in 2002, and through 2009 we have assisted 27 churches in preserving their buildings.
In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, immigrant families from Europe established farmsteads all across North Dakota. Their diversity of worship is one reason the state has such a large number of rural churches. So obviously it was in, disrepair. It takes a lot of money, it takes a lot of dedication. Was there ever a time when somebody said, let's just tear it down? And you said, you're not going to do that, but why?
No, because it meant so much to the heritage that our forefathers worked so hard to bring it here, and they just felt that we needed to continue this because we didn't build it up, but we want to preserve it because it meant that much to the whole family.
Working with congregations and those interested in preserving important examples of the state's history, the grant sparked local support and brought communities and memories back to their churches.
I got baptized here, confirmed. We were the last ones to be confirmed here. Went to Bible school here. It was the home church. I grew up just a mile west of here. And you didn't miss church unless you were awful sick or the roads were blocked.
Like in the summer, we had 6 weeks of German school. 6 weeks, every summer. And that's the way they kept that. They didn't want to lose that.
Sam Couts and his parents were among the immigrants who transplanted their Lutheran and evangelical faiths to their new home in North Dakota.
They believed in having a church, a place to worship. And they brought their children. They made sure that their children were brought up like I suppose they was brought up. And that was a good thing, that they did.
The all-volunteer efforts have not only prompted the restoration and renovation of historic buildings in the state, they've also shown locals that real change can come at a grassroots level.
The grants require a local match, so that means the community still has to come up with some kind of money or donated labor or materials to get their project done, but then also the technical advice, showing them how to properly do preservation and restore different aspects of their building.
Faith was very important to them, and I've always marveled that one of the first things they would do is build a church, and call a pastor. And to have that heritage to pass on to other generations, I think is fascinating.